If you're inspo tanks, and make no mistake, you've come to the right place. Just give to Neil the time to straight up blow your mind with a new show of Drawing a Blank.
Welcome back to Drawing a Blank. A few days ago on Twitter, Moonkitty and I were having a discussion about Wings of Fire, and we both repented the fact that the designs for the dragons in the books, while gorgeous in their own right, aren't very animation friendly. So I offered my own rough idea on how I would start simplifying the dragons' designs, and people seem to like it. So let's do it for real. Starting with our good boy Clay, let's draw some Mudwings. So let's start by talking about why the original designs aren't very animation friendly, since I know that some people might be confused about that or might not see what the problem is. For starters, there's a lot of detail in these, everywhere. Details in the wings, details in the horns, the spikes, and every little scale. Again, I can't emphasize enough that I think these drawings are beautiful and really cool. I look back at them all the time while I'm reading the books and when designing my own interpretations of these characters, but they just wouldn't work well in the medium of animation unless we converted these drawings to 3D models, and even then that would open up another slew of problems that I might get into eventually. But we're focusing on traditional animation character design today. I talked a bit about this topic several months ago in a video, so I know a lot of you already understand where I'm going to be going with this, but I also received a number of comments on that video that obviously didn't see what I was trying to get at, so I'm going to try to do my best to explain it again now. Animation is about making drawings move. More details on a character means more time dedicated to each individual frame, which in animation can be hundreds or thousands of frames. What might seem as one insignificant detail, like say spotted scales down the neck of a dragon, might only take an artist half a minute to draw once. Now take that half a minute and multiply that by every single frame of animation, and you've suddenly added hours more work for yourself. And that's not even taking into consideration how likely it'll be that the animator will have to go back and clean up this spot placement more thoroughly, adding a lot more time to something that, in the end, really didn't do much for the character design besides give you extra work. All of that being said though, it is entirely possible to do all this extra work and animate this way, of course. But if you guys would like to see any sort of map community flourish for Wings of Fire like the Warriors community has, you're going to need some more flexible and simple designs. Anyway, this whole idea of making your character design simpler for animation purposes is called line mileage. The more lines you have, the more miles you have to travel to get a project done. Too many miles and you run yourself dead like an old pickup truck. Okay, all that being said, let's talk about some things I decided to change with the Mudwings design. One thing to keep in mind right away is that dragons are already pretty difficult to draw. They have wings. So Wings of Fire dragons have 6 limbs, plus a tail, plus usually at least 2 horns to worry about. So we're already looking at a lot of extra mileage just from these basic things we've got to have in order for it to be a dragon. Now, the tribal differences in each dragon type is something that's really special for Wings of Fire, so we do really want to make sure that these things still come across in our designs as well. The artwork in the original books gives Mudwings this armored look on top of their heads, and I think that this is the feature that most stands out to me as being important in getting across that this is a Mudwing. I imagine Mudwings using this armored plate for many different things, but its primary function is something like a shovel, letting Mudwings burrow into the mud. This shape of this armored plate can really look however you want, so long as you follow the general idea that this plate can dig into the soft earth. As far as other tribal signifiers, I'm mostly going to be letting the Mudwings' size and strength do the talking. They should be, generally speaking, large and stocky dragons. I removed the back spikes and a good portion of the tail spikes to help out with my line mileage, but I think that having a few of one or the other would be fine, especially since it'll help make Mudwings stand out from one another. One Mudwing might have a couple of back spikes in between their shoulders, while another has a few tail spikes. You get the idea. Horn shape is also something that should be completely free to interpretation of the characters rather than determined by what kind of dragon species the character is. This offers more freedom to character design and helps keep dragons within the tribes looking unique from each other. I also wanted to keep the Mudwings' wing shape from the original books, but I took out most of the wings' quote-unquote fingers, as I'm going to call them. Again, this is for line mileage purposes. I only keep the outmost limb and the one coming out of the wing's elbow. Now that's pretty much my simplified Mudwing design in a nutshell. Let's take everything we've practiced here and apply it to clay. If the first drawing was a generic Mudwing, now we have to ask ourselves, what makes Clay different from other Mudwings? How will he stand out from other Mudwings? First, we have a few things we know about Clay from the books themselves. Clay is big and a big old softy. Clay was born from a red egg. Clay is often described as having a handsome face. And Clay loves to eat. So with all of these things in mind, let's draw Clay. Making Clay's friendly and kind of dopey personality shine through is easily enough done by giving him a nice soft jawline, giving him round, caring eyes, and making his ears larger and again, rounder. To keep his handsome looks though, we don't want to over-exaggerate these features too much. I want to give Clay a soft but strong looking nose and chin. His armored skull plate isn't very pronounced either, and he's got big friendly eyebrows that can move above his armored head plate and keep him expressive and friendly looking. Clay's horns are also very non-threatening. Clay's body has a bit more stomach than your usual Mudwing, and I also gave him a bit of a stumpy tail. With all of these unique characteristics, we can see the differences between Clay and other Mudwings quite easily, and he should hopefully still stand out in a crowd of them. And that's before we even get to coloring. I imagine Clay to be a mix of nice, warm orange browns. Mudwings in general are said to always be brown colors, but there's a lot of different kinds of browns, so every Mudwings palette can be unique. And Clay should not only stand out because he's a main character, but the warm, saturated colors suit him well. And I know I don't have any real polished drawings here, but this is where we're going to be ending this episode of Drawing a Blank. Keep an eye on my Twitter for a polished drawing of Clay with this design, and next time we do this we can skip a lot of the line mileage explanation and get right into drawing some sea wings of our girl Tsunami. Please remember that these are only some of my own design ideas, and I am in no way trying to say that this is the end-all be-all of Mudwing or Clay designs. But also feel free to use this design if you like and share it with me. I'd love to see it. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Next week will be another Patreon voted drawing, so see you all then, and please stay inspired.